Hello, I'm Morgan Freeman.
I'd like to welcome to the people who created the A24 film, Friend. Now here is Rasha, Fatima, and Mo. Let's begin with Rasha. So before anything else, what is your film about?
This film, or this piece, actually gives an insight of the life of someone with schizophrenia and his struggles dealing with integrating into a society that sees people with these conditions as an abnormality.
What film companies did you believe would properly distribute your film to your target audience?
In terms of distribution, we decided that we'd do the process of elimination to help narrow down our choices. So Disney was definitely something that we decided would not distribute our film because it currently advertises itself or markets itself as a more child-friendly or family-friendly company producing G-rated movies for the general audience. Perhaps 20th Century Fox could be a likely candidate for distributing our film, as it presents itself as a more diverse production company, having produced films like Ice Age and more of a kids movie, and on the other spectrum has produced movies like Underwater and The Predator, both PG-13, which is not always considered something kid-friendly. The way we implemented both 3D elements in terms of live action elements as well as animation, which is more of a 2D element, we feel that production companies like Leica, which is renowned for their stop motion movies, could possibly distribute this as well as implementing some 3D stop motion-esque perspective in our movie. So we're having different dimensions in which he sees, and that could show how his hallucinations transcend reality much better.
Very interesting. Well, what is the age group of your target audience?
Our movie is, we consider our movie more PG-13 because we feel that the younger audience may not find the hallucinations appealing in a way. They would probably be scared. They could possibly be frightened, and therefore it wouldn't really suit them, because also they wouldn't understand the idea of hallucinations, and they probably wouldn't understand schizophrenia as a whole unless they have it.
Well, Rasha, you are the head of animation. Do you believe there is any way the younger audiences may enjoy the animation style?
We believe that the young audience may not relate to our movie mainly because they are more used to lighter tones in what they watch. In movies like produced by Disney and Pixar, things like Frozen, Inside Out, DreamWorks, Trolls is very popular as well. All of them are the actual character design in terms of the animation. The character designs are very round, and that signifies something friendly and something more inviting. Whereas our animation does not include that at all. It's from the other side of the spectrum. We use very sharp strokes, very angular shapes.
Well, that was very interesting, Rasha. Now let's move on to Fatima. You had joined the group later on in the process of the creation of Friend. How did you feel when you first came into the project?
At first, I felt quite nervous and overwhelmed, as Rasha and Mo had already mind mapped all their initial ideas for a chosen genre, psychological thriller. Therefore, this positioned me in a difficult place in our journey to grasp the storyline of Friend and what schizophrenia actually is. This planted seeds of doubt and anxiety in my mind during group discussions. I felt confused or unsure of what was going on, as I hadn't fully caught up yet. Therefore, this degraded my self-confidence in the team, as I felt my ideas or opinions wouldn't meet high standards or was completely irrelevant to what we were talking about. Although I felt this way, I felt more ease knowing that my peers are extremely hardworking and supportive, as this would make our group journey much easier to meet up and film and depend on each other to complete our sections of the post. I also felt excited prior entering the group because of how Rasha's animation skills, Mo's musical talent, and my production skills would infuse together to create something extraordinary. This allowed me to expand my knowledge by learning from my teammates. Mo had helped me with the side of software editing, which I really struggled on. And Rasha helped me with software editing as well, as we both were using After Effects. so we both benefited from helping each other. Rasha also helped me with the writing side of blog posts, such as adjusting my grammar if it hadn't made sense, or if I struggled to word my sentences, she'd help me adjust them to make it more clear. Therefore, Mo and Rasha helped me with many aspects, and I benefited a lot being with them.
Now Fatima, could you explain to me why this was filmed in a school and why you chose for the main character's age to be a teenager?
John Doe is someone whose identity is unknown or is hidden. This is kind of related to John himself, and the area of filming being a school ground, giving the targeted audience of teenagers a feeling of relation to the main character. The design of his clothes and his surroundings was a specific point of interest, being a fitted uniform to juxtapose his surroundings and perception, with the uniform being a symbol of order and control within the school ground, while all John perceives and experiences is beyond the norm.
Well, thank you, Fatima. That was very informative. Now let's finish off with Mo. Now Mo, you are the director of music for Friend. What made you want to tackle the soundtrack in the fashion you did?
The way I wanted to tackle the score for Friend was, I wanted the audience to experience what John was experiencing, as people with schizophrenia have both auditory and visual hallucinations. And so I wanted to show, we as a team wanted to show how John perceives his hallucinations. So we wanted to let the audience hear what John hears. Like, I wanted the audience to feel the excitement, like the pacing of the film as it goes on. Because if we didn't have that drive, that movement, I don't believe Friend would be the same without it.
I believe you and Rasha were co-creators on the editing and animation team, with Rasha heading the animation and you heading the editing style. How did you two come to the way you both stylized Friend?
The way we wanted to stylize Friend was, again, to make it within the perception of John, to create those visual and auditory pieces. With Rasha heading the animation, she had to show the monsters. She had to show the fear that John had while he was interacting with all these beings and these pieces that she made. She wanted to show these monsters as being crooked, large, just being shapes, because we wanted to show that people with schizophrenia, they don't just see, let's say, a Godzilla every single day. It's not just that. It could be anything. Their mind could produce whatever it wants to face that hallucination. And so that's what Rasha wanted to do with her animation. She wanted to create the monsters to be big, small shapes, for them to be truly anything, so the audience could perceive that John sees things that are beyond normal. And the way I wanted to design my editing style was similar to that, with the opening scenes where you see John semi-elapsing in and out of reality, where the audience would see how John sees his life. When he's out of focus, his illusions are strongest, with them fading in and out and in and out and in and out. When he takes those pills and they didn't work, his body seemed to morph and like shift with time, as if he could just see time passing, but like physically. And so that's what we wanted to show with John, and that's what we wanted to stylize. We wanted to stylize the chaos of Friend, this chaos of schizophrenia.
Do you believe you and Rasha gave justice to the mental illness of schizophrenia? Do you believe you may have shined the illness in a negative or unrealistic light?
I believe in any fashion, if people find it as abhorrent and something that is dramatized and unrealistic, or something that is wrong, I believe, negative or positively, it still brings awareness to schizophrenia. It still makes people want to look into it and see what exactly these people may face on a day-to-day basis. It makes people more compassionate to people with mental illnesses, because usually what we see in media is people with a mental illness are crazy people who are unstable, someone you should stay away from. while what we wanted to show with Friend is people with these type of mental illnesses aren't insane. These are people who deal with everyday things and are trying to get through it day by day. And that these people shouldn't be outcasted and seen as the other, but should be embraced and helped when they need help. And I believe at the end of the day, if people find Friend as something good or bad, it still brings that message to light.